guns out. And then I said, you can stand behind me if you're afraid.
Did he hit you back?
No, I don't think he will. Fuck the government, by the way. Like, you don't owe these people. They're your fucking employees. We are not subjects of a fucking kingdom. We are citizens of a constitutional republic. Fuck these motherfuckers. You don't owe them any of your money. You don't owe them any of your fucking liberty. God damn it, man.
That's nuts, man.
It's pretty nuts, but the only reason it happens is because people allow it to happen. That's it.
Yeah.
Like every time you tell these motherfuckers no, and to be honest, this guy should file civil complaints, sue the ATF and the Delaware State Police for.
They think they know it. I've been praying for somebody to save me. No one's heroic in my life, don't even matter. I know it, I know it, I know I'm hurt deep down, but can't show it. I never had a place to call my own. I never had a home. Ain't nobody calling my phone. Where you been, where you at, what's on your mind? They say every life precious, but nobody care about mine. I've been on the low, I've been taking my time. I feel like I'm out of my mind. It feel like my life ain't mine. I've been on the low, I've been taking my time. I feel like I'm out of my mind. It feel like my life ain't mine. I want you to be right. I want you to be right. You don't gotta die today. You don't gotta die. I want you to be right. I want you to be right. You don't gotta die. Now let me tell you why. It's the very first breath when your head's been drowning underwater, and it's a lightness in the air when you're there chest to chest with a lover. It's holding on though the road's long and seeing light in the dark.
That was off to a rocky start. Welcome back to the Death by Tyranny podcast. I know I've been on here once today already. That's okay. It wasn't a podcast. It was just a life update, if you will. Hopefully we get some leeway on it. Unfortunately, I can already tell you, with the way my luck goes, we're already having setbacks. So, ironically enough, my work, which I can't say for stupid reasons and handbook, blah, 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 sends me flowers for bereavement, right? You lose somebody in the family, they send you flowers. I didn't know that, but they didn't pay me for bereavement, which if you guys don't know, it's the 2nd, so I'm officially late on all my bills, so they issue me a pay card, and the pay card is expired, so I am still stuck without a paycheck almost 2 weeks after hours worked. So I'm quite frustrated. I was going to use that to catch up on all my bills, my credit cards, which I only have. I don't have like crazy amount of credit card debt. I only got them to work on my credit so I could get loans to fix the house. And if you watched the little video I did earlier, I'm hoping to like document and video fixing up the house while including that into a short film that may or may not be horror related. So, missing your first house payment and your homeowner's insurance lapsing the first month is kind of a setback. So once that is all resolved, then we can start looking into cinema lenses and start recording. I did, however, the lens that I managed to get off of Facebook Marketplace, the new one that you're looking at right now, I was hoping some people would get on here and let me know if they thought maybe it was better quality, worse quality. I did notice it works totally different. For one, it's a prime lens. It's 16 millimeters, so the only way you're getting closer to my face is if I move closer to the camera. I can't zoom in or zoom out, which has its pros and cons, but the autofocus seems to be pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good for, you know, I got it on Facebook Marketplace for like $200. It might be on, I don't know, I can't remember what settings because I've been trying to take pictures with it So I don't know if it's trying to pick up the mic or if it's trying to pick up my face. It should be trying to pick up my face, I would think. There we go. Now it's picking up my face. So for it's a $400 lens, but like I said, I don't have money like that, so I have to buy the used equipment to get going. And that's cool because I started this podcast with used equipment and it seems to all be working fairly decent as of right now. So there's that. Obviously, we're already getting set back on the horror movies being pushed back a little bit, but that should just give me enough, a little bit more time. I'm trying to look at it positively and hopefully to give me some more time to practice with this. I don't know how to pull the pictures off of the camera while it's plugged in like a webcam the way I'm using it right now. But my daughters were nice enough to go outside and let me figure out how to use the lens and get some pretty creepy pictures. Not creepy like that, but so if you didn't hear the story plot is we buy this house and it's kind of beat up and we're fixing it up, and the house doesn't want to be fixed up. It wants to be left alone. So the more we change the house, the more it starts to change us. And of course, as in most horror movies, it usually happens to the kids first, because kids just seem to pick up on, extraterrestrial and spiritual things better than adults do. So my wife doesn't really want the kids to be in the movie because she doesn't want to see them makeup on and possessed looking. But I think it would be good for a couple of reasons. One, it's something different that we can do as a family. Two, it will give them a potential skill that they can use later in life. I mean, obviously, social media, acting, all of that stuff, video photography, cinematography, sound, makeup, all of these things they're going to be getting exposure to. Not to mention, you never know who is going to be the next, short film actor that just blows up and takes off. I don't think it's going to be me by any means because I can't even get a podcast to get more than one view. But I think that my daughters are very ambitious and very talented, and I think they have more of potential of some type of profession in that kind of industry. And I think that my middle daughter especially has the ability to play multiple characters, which would be good for this film. She's going to have to be a normal little girl in some scenes and a possessed, evil something else in other scenes. And I just think she would be really good at that. And my younger daughter is just into creepy things in general, so she's super on board with it. I already have kind of a scene played in my head that I want to play out. It's not going to be the first one. And of course, I'm going to have to do some kind of a trailer to begin with to get people excited, to try to get a Kickstarter or something, because I'm not going to be able to fund this on my own. And I'm going to need help. So I don't know exactly the story. The storyboard needs to be made still for the trailer. But I do, like I said in the video earlier, I'd like to make 4-minute short films, but have 6 parts. And one of the parts, probably mid part, because you want to build up the anticipation to the scare. So maybe part 3, part 4. I already have that whole film in my head played out and how it needs to look and what's going to happen and in what order. So I guess I got to YouTube and try to figure out how to start storyboarding and then start figuring out the other parts so I can make this trailer. Sorry, there's not a lot of political things going on to talk about, and I know that's what 0 of you come here for, is my political commentary. If you are interested, there is a video up. I don't know the link to the main source, or I would show it to you. I know there's been podcasts that show it, and if I could find the main source to it, I would play it because I think he deserves his moment. But it's one of the fathers of the soldiers that died because of the horrible planned and horrible execution of the Afghanistan pullout. And he pretty much goes off on Biden like in a professional Congress setting, like I've never seen anybody go off before. Of course, a lot of politicians are animated, and a lot of them, will get loud and, become this character. But this guy is himself, and he just takes it to another level with, I don't want to say aggression, but passion. And I'm honestly surprised they didn't cut the feed. He curses during it, which I thought was awesome, not because he cursed, but because he felt so passionate enough about that. And of course he did. It was his son that died for no reason. That word came out naturally, and he knew where he was. He knew there might be consequences for using that word, and he still did it anyways. And I think that's awesome. And I wish all the luck, and my sympathy goes out to all of those family members, not just the one who just kind of went viral for going off on Biden. Like I said, if you guys haven't seen it, it should be pretty easy to find on YouTube. Just look up parent of Afghanistan soldier, and it'll come up, I'm sure. The only other thing I really seen that was interesting is I was watching Salty Cracker last night, and I guess someone in Australia broke into someone's house. I don't know whether it was to like vandalize or to harm them in any ways. But the homeowner then turned around and like raped the intruder. And now the homeowner's trying to prosecute the homeowner. And it just goes to show you kind of the way that society is going. Not has been, but is there. A lot of people don't know this, but Australia is a test ground for the United States in a lot of ways. They play movies there first to see what the audience in Australia thinks before they release it here. They do it with products. Coca-Cola does this famously. A lot of your candy brands do this. A lot of your alcohol companies do this. It's a smaller, easier distribution network, and they have a lot of Western similarities. So if it can make it in Australia, it's a pretty good indicator that it can make it here. But that works both ways. That means when Australia can build COVID Holocaust camps, and if you're offended that I use the word Holocaust to describe the camps that they made for COVID, that's literally like what it was. And you probably feel some type of way because you're Jewish. And honestly, I don't care. Get over it. Not the Holocaust particularly, but your selfish feelings about only being able to use one word to describe one event. Anyways, you see the Holocaust COVID camps that they have in Australia, how easily it was to implement them. You see in the 19th century, in my lifetime, well, I don't know if that was considered, okay. Anyways, cross that so I don't sound like a retard. In my lifetime, Australia gave up their firearms, and now they're being censored to the point where they're being put in jail for comedy. And people act like none of this stuff will ever come to America. A lot of it is already here in America. And like I said, Australia is kind of the test grounds for us. a lot of your power hungry, big, behind the scenes Illuminati people do test over there. And once they know they can do it there, their very next move is to bring it over here. So, as much as we would love to forget about COVID, you have to understand, in a lot of ways, we did not win that fight. In a lot of ways, we lost. There was a lot of ways that the powers that be realized that they could take advantage of us and that we wouldn't do anything about it. And that's scarier than any horror movie that I can think of. And ultimately, that's my goal getting into filmmaking. Like I said, I think horror is an easy genre to get into as far as budget-wise. It gives you a lot of the skills to go on and to make other things. Not to mention, I have not only a lot to learn, but everything to learn about filmmaking. But I would, at some point, like to transition from those horror movies to propaganda pieces. And we like to think of this word propaganda as this bad word. And it's really not. The Hope campaign for Obama, that was propaganda. The Make America Great Again flags and hats, that's all propaganda. I would like to get in some of the cinematography for that, but not for a political opponent or a political candidate, but for the people. To make propaganda pieces to show the government how the people really feel about the bullshit that they're doing. Now, of course, you have a lot of leftists showing their side because a lot of the artistic people are on that side. And a lot of conservatives have been saying this is the issue. This is why we're losing the culture war. It's not because we're outnumbered. It's because all the culture, all the artistic people are on their side. There are no musicians that are coming out as conservatives and making conservative music. There are no big brands coming out as conservative and releasing conservative merchandise. There are no filmmakers, propaganda, cinematography that are coming out that are conservative. Well, now you are slowly starting to see that things have gotten so bad that we have no choice but to make our own things. And I think a lot of us seen that coming for a long time, that we would have to have a parallel economy. The only thing is I don't know that a parallel economy will work. We're either going to have to get back to a point where an economy can work parallel but together, or one side of that parallel economy is going to have to win. And right now, the left and the progressives are winning. It's a miracle that you have people that have these one-off country songs that touch everybody in America in a way that makes you want to cry, not because it's a bad song, but because it's so true. We have filmmakers making movies about children being trafficked in the United States and abroad, and the left is so powerful in this arena of creativity that movie's being silenced and being called a lie when it's clearly true, factual, proven, FBI data and all. But just because it's a conservative filmmaker, it's considered misinformation and nonsense. And this is what's going to happen to a lot of musicians. That's why even though the songs and the country stuff that I don't like, I try to at least promote it and like it and share it, so we have a fighting chance. But the propaganda pieces, I never see a conservative side of that. And I have a feeling that that's because they're afraid. They're afraid that a conservative propaganda piece is going to look like some type of Nazi throwback retro video. And it doesn't have to be like that. It can be simple. It can be a car driving up to the gas station on E, going to the inside the store, and someone having to decide, are they going to put gas in their car or get their kid something to eat that day? It can be that simple. The left is doing it with cell phones. And I just don't understand why our side isn't doing it. So I'm sure if I do nail this short horror movie film series that I plan on putting out, praise be to God that I can make that happen. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of, if it's the movie that I want it to be, there's a lot of financial aspect to it. There's the fixing of the house. There's the cinematography equipment. There's the, paying the people that help, unless they volunteer, which would be lovely. But I'm sure even in those short films, I won't be able to stop myself from putting some type of conservative propaganda in that. Because the left has no problem with doing it in their movies. Hell, you have multi-billion-dollar movie franchise like Star Wars and the Marvel Universe now that pushes LGBTQ and transgender youths. But no small filmmakers can even break the bubble if they have a conservative message to push. It's just nonsense. And I've heard this a lot, especially since I've been podcasting and listening to other creators, where they say, if someone's not making the things that you want to watch, you have to make it. And I thought that can't be true. There's so many people out there now. The market is so diluted that there's no way that my idea hasn't already been done. And in a way, I think that's true. I think there are a lot of people that have the same ideas. There just isn't the same amount of people that have those ideas and the ambition to put the two together and make it happen. So as cliche as I always thought that sounded, I just have to go out and do it on my own. I wanted to make a podcast where I wasn't afraid to say anything. And I did that. It didn't succeed financially, or I wasn't able to monetize it, but I did it. So there's no reason why I can't make short films and start getting into propaganda pieces for conservatives that should be able to stop me. So just to be consistent, like I said, there wasn't a whole lot going on today politically. I did make the short video about getting into filmmaking earlier. You can always DM me on Facebook. I'm not shy. I'm not a creator that hides my real name. At some point, I will make an email where people can email the podcast or the channel. But for now, you can always leave a comment, and I can just get a hold of you or vice versa. We can work it out from there. Like I said, and if you know of ways for small filmmakers or Kickstarter short films to get some kind of funding or something started where people can donate, and you want to get a hold of me and kind of give me a couple of shortcuts, so that's just one less thing that I have to learn, great. I appreciate any and all the help, any thumbs up, any view. But with that, guys, I love you. Stay safe. God bless. America first. Peace, y'all.